What's it doing? There we go. There we go. We are live. Oh my word. Everything's technologically melting at the moment and going wrong.
I think that's what was wrong with my computer earlier on, actually. I
think the heat is getting to stuff. I really do. I really think it's getting to stuff. Your computer just went Pete Tong, right?
Shaking, not the whole thing, obviously.
No. Whilst we were waiting for you to be able to arrive because your computer was messing around, in the background, in the other room, suddenly it sounded like a rave. I went in, it was a sound bar. It had switched itself on, full blast, playing some kind of rave music. Took me right back to the early 90s.
Where was that coming from then? Like, where was the origin of it?
Martians, or probably a TV signal. But there we go. Anyway, because we've been keeping the lovely ladies who are coming on with us today.
I can't tell you about my holiday then. I won't tell you about my holiday.
No, you can. But let's do it as part of the
talk about it anyway.
Ambience of everybody. Let's introduce our guest today. We've got Katie live from her caravan and Shelle.
Hello.
Everybody.
Hello. Live from the hottest room ever that existed.
Cool. Right. Marianne, quickly, just tell us about your holiday.
It was hot.
There you go. That was succinct, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I read. Well, can I just very quickly say, my friend was round earlier on, and she's got. Well, she's not diagnosed ADHD, but she has got it. Her son's got it, and her partner's got it, and it causes all sorts of problems. And anyway, I was talking about how I've used to get stressed about packing. Packing was my awful thing that I had to do because I would end up putting extra things in, and then before you know it, you've got loads of stuff. It's all cluttered, it's all messy. And then I have reflected on years gone by and realised that I have to get my shoes right because I can't compromise on them. But I don't like committing to putting stuff in the suitcase. So, and also when I pack, I end up making everyone late because I have to tidy up the house. Not for the burglars, because I just need the house to be tidy. And most people, I'm going to say women, I'm not being sexist, but I think most women, particularly mums, get this.
Same.
It's just nice, isn't it? That if it's nice. Yeah. And the minute you walk out the door, you don't care what it looks like anyway. So I thought, right, okay, the week before we went away, I thought I'd sort the boys out with what clothes they need so that I can sort that, and then I can do my work the week before we go away. And then I can make sure the house is tidy and I can pack and it's all good. So I did all of that. And then I got these packing cubes. Has anybody seen packing cubes before?
I love them. I love them.
They're amazing. I've had them.
I haven't seen packing cubes. What's a packing cube?
They're kind of like, they're these material, like.
Oh, things. You put them in the suitcase, isn't it?
Well, you get like maybe 5 or 6 of them. So you get a bigger one, and it might on one side it says clean and dirty. I mean, I don't use it to that way, to be honest.
But that is a good idea. That is a good idea.
So you've got the clean and dirty or whatever, and then you've got maybe another sized one, and then you've got one that says laundry or whatever. So I thought, right, I'm going to use these because what happens is when I talk about executive function, so I talk about unpacking my case is an absolute nightmare for me because all I see is all the stuff in a case and I can't do it. So I'm just going to walk away from it for a long time. And that's what a lot of people do. Yeah. So so when I pack to come home, I pack so that I can unpack, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, okay, I literally the day before we went, because I keep everything where I know where it is in my room, I know where everything is. So in my mind, before we went away, I made sure I had everything. So I literally, in 10 minutes, hand-picked from each drawer. I got underwear done, tops done, some dresses done. So all of my clothes was in a packing pod thing like this. My bikinis and stuff, all my beachy stuff was in one. So I put it on the bed, put it into the packing cubes, put it into there, and I was like done. Within 10 minutes, I'd packed everything because I'd laid the foundations for it. And my friend just now was just saying they have a nightmare because her partner's got it and he's unmedicated. And she said, I'm already dreading the holiday because it's going to get really stressful. So I think I could have a new business now trying to organise other people because I've really worked hard at developing strategies to work with my I'm going to say downfalls because they are, because like things like I know that I will have probably 4 lip glosses in my bag because I must think that I'm going to like lose them or something. I don't know. I don't even use the damn thing. I don't even use them.
I'm seeing lots of nodding from Shelle and Katie. Katie, Shelle, does any of this resonate?
It all rings
Yeah.
true.
Too much. Too much.
I went through my car one day to clear it up. I took a picture of all the stuff that was in there. And I'm not making light of this. I am making a bit of a joke, but I'm not. I either thought I was going to have a lot of headaches and hangovers, or I was going to take an overdose with the amount of painkillers that were in my car.
Honestly,
Wow.
honestly, that sounds like my every handbag has got like 5. Even just sat here now, I've just picked up a lip gloss. I've got the 2 there.
I've got that one.
My bronzer. And why would I need that here now on the desk? Like, I'm not let's just get the Chanel out. Do you know what I mean? Let's just get it out.
Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of an alternative perspective to this. So,
Anybody for sparkling eyeshadow?
oh my word!
Friday? I don't know.
Okay, so firstly, I don't need those compartment things because that's why we had 5 children. So every child gets a suitcase, and then we can use different suitcases for different things.
You can put your underwear in one. You can put your t-shirt
yes,
in one.
Exactly, and then coming
no,
back.
I can't have my underwear mixed in with somebody else's. Obviously,
Obviously, and I can't have my bras in the same one as my pants. I can't. I just can't do it.
This is great.
Aren't you glad you came on this podcast now because you didn't know you were going to.
This is great. Right, let's start from the beginning. Katie, tell us a little bit about you and what you do for anyone that doesn't know.
Well, luckily, because I live in a caravan, I can't have as much stuff.
I love that.
That's my one way to get around all of that. I mean, this desk pretty full. So I have a Hot Wheels car. I've got 2 crystals. I have a little angel that I found, so I just take it everywhere with me. I found it in my bedroom, and I was like, "Where did this come from?" Thanks, universe, for giving me that. So staying there. Headphones, loads of them. A plastic ring, which definitely isn't mine, and my son's pen wand, which is now on the floor. Yeah, wires everywhere. Wires. I'm awful with wires. My partner comes in and he's like, "You're going to blow us up," and I'm like, "All right, well, at least it's just a caravan." You know.
So your advice to people is if they feel. Do you know what? I actually, when I used to design offices, this is honest truth. There was a point in time where like desks were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I used to say to people, "Don't give people a bigger desk,
Just fill it,
because all they do is fill it with rubbish, utter rubbish." You know, people were going for those big curved desks that sit in a corner, and it was like. And everyone would say in an office, they used to say, "I want one of those big desks." You go, "Why?" "Oh, I need the space." "Do you?"
Yeah.
Right, because I've seen what's on your desk right now, and it's utter rubbish. And don't get me started on what women used to put in their drawers. Really,
mine was terrible.
When you used to clean out people's drawers, right, because you were moving them from one place to another. Oh my word! Like the amount of spare tights and things that were in the top of drawers, right, in an office.
They would always bring a pack of super noodles out of date.
I used to stash food in my drawers. Yeah, food.
Okay.
Was a big one.
Oh, Slimming World. When you decided you were going to do Slimming World, no.
Katie, you haven't actually said what you do, so just tell people what you do, just so they know.
Well, I definitely don't help anybody with organisation in terms of their desk, because that can't happen. But I do help them with organisation in other ways, which is quite funny. There are some ways that I'm good at organisation and others that I'm not. So I am the founder of Kick, and we are basically I'm not going to say an agency because at the moment it's just me, but manifesting agency. So I've got to say it sort of, who does a little bit of lead gen tied with the VA. So it's a little bit like networking, but without the sleaze. It's direct, but still human. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like to say that I don't do ors. I don't go, oh, I've got to be direct, or I've got to be really like soft and nice and Miss Nicey Nicey. I'm like, no, combine the two.
Do
And
the
then
two.
you've got the perfect, you've hit the sweet spot there when you combine the two. And that's what I talk about with the middle line. I'm a little bit more, I would say, maybe more feminine energy in terms of I am a little bit nicer. I am a little bit more human than an AI chatbot, definitely.
Well, that's for certain. There we go. Don't
But,
get started on chatbots. And Shelle, for people that don't know,
And a massive spider has just crawled.
Oh, God. My leg would have been ripped off by now.
Ah!
I'm going to tell you that I'm about to scream. It's not there now.
It's,
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. Shelle, tell us what you do.
So, I'm definitely not someone that organises something, and I'm definitely not someone that is helpful to anyone. No, I am. So I'm a song. So basically, I was training as a barrister, very bullet pointy. And my children were like, "Why are you not?" And that was later in life, like I'm 51, right? So when I was about 45, I started going to uni, Open University, went to like Worcester University, trained as a barrister, was about to take the bar, and then woke up in the middle of the night in COVID times and thought to myself that I say to my kids all the time, you know, you can do anything you want to do. And they were like, why are you not a songwriter, mum? That's what you wanted to do. That's what you always want to do. And I was like, do you know what? I am going to do it. So I woke my husband up and I said, I'm not going to take the bar. And he was like, what are you on about? And I said, I'm not going to take it. I'm a songwriter and that's what I'm going to do. I'm a music artist. And he was like, what are you on about? I'm like, you know, like, oh my God, 7 years. And so that's what I do now. So I write songs, I release them. I'm trying to grow my audience. And yeah. And I also have crystals on my desk because I'm a massive manifester. And this box here, something I got out earlier to try and sort out my wires.
Oh my word!
So there you go.
Love it.
I write songs about heartbreak, lying on the bathroom floor. I'm literally been divorced twice, married now to a lovely man. But yeah, all my diary, there's my diary, to which I have many. All my diaries are in the songs that I release. And that's basically me.
Yeah. And she's got a couple of songs about to come out. One is a slower song, and the other one's a banger, isn't it? Like an 80s banger.
80s banger. I mean, you can see my 80s influence on the wall behind me. So
yeah. Is that Tiffany behind?
Say again, sorry.
Is that Tiffany? And I thought I could see Tiffany.
There's Wham, Wait Before You Go, Lisa Stansfield, Level 42, Madonna, Amy Winehouse, all the above. But I do love a bit of Tiffany. Who doesn't?
Well, she's I mean, Walking on Sunshine's my favourite song ever, like ever.
Yeah.
All of the 80s. I play 80s, all 80s station on my phone when I go to the gym, like always.
I love it. And there's smooth 80s now, as well, not to plug the radio station, but there's smooth 80s, and it just there's no adverts. There's no talking. It's just complete wait before you go into Madonna, Open Your Heart, whatever.
So I thought it'd be fun as we got the three of you here. I think it'd be fun to talk about one of the things that I've kind of sensed from like everybody online is there's some women out there online that don't seem to help other women.
Most.
Yeah. And me and Marianne were talking about it this morning because I think this is quite a contentious subject, especially online. Online.
It was quite a nice little meeting we had, wasn't it?
It was. It seems to me that there's some women who kind of are almost anti-men in some of their message, right? Yeah. But then they seem to be trying to be the men that they're being anti, if you know what I mean. They're kind of trying to be then like the alpha male of the women's world, and then they're not really very nice to other women. Discuss. Anybody want to take the floor?
I've got so much to say on this, but
please go for it, Katie. Go.
If I get going, then I'm probably just going to be like rah, 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 rah. So please, if I talk too much, someone tell me to shut up, because This is what generally happens. Anybody who's in my world knows that I'm like a serial waffler. That's just what they refer
So
to
that's
me
what
as.
I'm here for. Is just to control the crowd.
Likewise.
We've got a good bunch of us today. I think you've like picked everybody who's similar.
Yeah, yeah.
We're all in each of as well. It's cool. So I believe, because I have had this problem, and I have talked openly about this problem because I've had this problem with myself. I have not wanted, and it's not necessarily just women, I've not wanted anybody to succeed.
Why?
And a lot of it came back to trauma that I'd had when I was younger. I've been through a year and a half of mindset coaching, doing something called belief coding, which is really getting into subconscious. I'm quite a spiritual person, so I'm completely open to everything like that. And now I see it so clearly. And I'm like, oh my God. And I wouldn't say that I've completely worked past it. I've got a lot of issues still in regards to females in my personal family, that I'm really open about. But the way that I see it when I look at them is, I don't like to say that we live in a patriarchal society, because that's not what I choose to believe. I like to believe that we're all equal, but I do believe that there is a lot that has been influenced by the patriarchy.
Yep.
And there is a lot of women who have then gone really hard into this transactional masculine energy because they've seen, and then they replicate, because that's what we do. Our kids basically become little versions of us, but in different ways. So we go, oh, they're not entirely like us, because we don't want to accept that their bad bits are all us, even though they are. So essentially that's what we've done. We have replicated that, and then a lot of women don't actually know how to sort of embrace their femininity. I can never say that bloody word, so if that came out wrong, you know what I mean. And yeah, I think when we look into our subconscious, and when we actually do the deep work, and I mean deep work where it's uncomfortable, no one wants to do it, but it's so important to do it, we become a lot more at ease with it. I wouldn't say we become, like, for me personally, maybe in 5 years' time it will be different, because I will still be working with my mindset coach, by the way, at that point, because I don't believe mindset work, like the deep subconscious stuff, I don't believe that ever comes to a stop. I believe you get over your blocks, but you still need refreshment in terms of any learning and development. You'd still need that. But that's what I've seen from my opinion. The women who, it's not sort of an extrovert or an introverted sort of thing. It's a feminine, masculine type of thing. And we do have our natural tendencies as females and males, and that's absolutely fine. This is nothing against men. Absolutely nothing against men. It's just that there has been some people in life who have taken it to the extreme. Again, I go back to my middle line, and even though I'm applying it with what I do on LinkedIn, I apply it in life in the same way of, there's an extreme end, and then there's that really, I can't find the word for it, but like really laid back to the point of, it's like, oh, I don't care what happens in my life. There's the two extremes, and you've got to meet in the middle. And there are some people, and it's not just men anymore, even though I would say it's more of a masculine trait, who are at the extremist end.
Yeah.
And
I just like Shelle to throw in a point here, because when you first started recording and doing stuff or whatever, you clearly, because the recording industry is a bit of a patriarchal nightmare. And you had some nice comments, didn't you?
Yeah, I've wrote a song about it called Snakes and Ladders, actually, and it's literally, I came into the industry quite naive. You know, I didn't think I was going to be Madonna the next week, but I did think that my music ability was going to outweigh what perhaps I looked like, what my size, what my age was. And I had a couple of labels that were interested, but one of the guys was like, right, okay, you need to start writing. We've got another girl on our books, and she's really good, and she's not as good as you, but what she does do is she'll write songs about drinking at the beach, and she'll have videos of her in her bikini, and she'll do this and this, and also she's only 25. And I was like, right. And he went, so you're not going to make it because you're over 35 and you aren't size 8. And I was like, right, okay. And he said, if you could make some videos like that, then we might be able to, if your music was a bit more like that, then we might be able to do something with you. And I think there's a lot of people are underhand about it. There's that, which is very obvious what they were saying, and then there's people that aren't so obvious, where they'll say, oh, you know, your music's not quite what we're looking for. What about the music isn't then? Well, it's just really because you're a bit older. There's a lot of ageism, and I do see that. And I know that Madonna talks about ageism, and I think that's absolutely horrendous, the flack that she gets. If this woman is this iconic woman that has built her career from age 23 when she moved to New York with like $23 in her pocket or something, and people have the nerve to say,
yeah, you wouldn't get that if it was a bloke.
You wouldn't get that if it's a
You
bloke.
wouldn't. I mean, look at the Rolling Stones. I mean, they're literally holding on to the gravestones. And
people are there, like, and whereas I'm not saying that isn't good and that isn't warranted, and how emotional when I saw that Ozzy Osbourne concert and everything was. I'm not saying that, but it's, you wouldn't get it if you were a woman. A lot of the things.
There was I saw a comment yesterday. Somebody had I don't know who it was, because I seem to have seen a lot of stuff. I guess LinkedIn shows you similar stuff then, if you know, and a lot of comments that men have been making, and which I'm going to say something else about that in a minute. But the comment that was made was something to do with, oh well, why would you want, this was kind of an age woman thing. Somebody was 40 doing your copywriting or something. That's like having your grandpa doing it or grandma doing it.
Please.
And I sat there as a woman of 49 thinking, I'm like still quite like, I'm actually more like, I get
why would you want an 18-year-old who knows nothing about anything?
And this was my initial thought, was that I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday who's he's male, he's manager, very not your typical corporate-y sort of one, but still is in a corporate world, and he said he'd learned a lot from me about how to own who he is and be who he is in a corporate world. And he said, I watch people kind of soften to me when I present as me. And I said, because everybody's putting these acts on everywhere. And the minute what you show up as you know, they can trust you. And I said, it's funny because when I look at you in the position you're in, and you've got quite a lot of responsibility and stuff. But actually, there's other people in the company, and there might be other people that could get his job or whatever. I said they wouldn't be able to do what you do, because I do genuinely think that with age comes experience. It does. I'm not saying that you get to a certain age and you are, but you know, when you've been around the block a few times, you get it. You know, I'm okay with who I am now, and I'm only okay with who I am because stuff's happened to me.
It's like my songs, that's similar to my songs, because when I was writing, you know, if I'd written when I was 20, not saying that 20-year-olds can't write songs, but what would I have to say? Like, all the stuff I'm saying in my songs are emotions that I felt, and, you know, awful things that have happened, or you know, and or to people, me or people around me or whatever. Even songs that I'm writing now about the people in the industry, I wouldn't have even known about any of that. So I think ages, you give experience of what you've got, and that isn't taking anything away from anyone younger.
No, and that's the problem you've got, isn't it? I often see the vacuous comments and things that are just said, and I know I'm probably going to get flack for this as well. I'm not saying every person. So I saw someone say something the other day. It was about the things that get you seen on LinkedIn, and one of them was if you put selfies on there. And I said, but this is where we've got the problem, though, haven't we? Because if selfies are what we're supposed to be putting on because people want to look at, it is then going to mean that younger people's stuff is going to get looked at. Somebody commented on a selfie I used on a post yesterday and said, you weren't looking at the camera properly. And I said, it was because I was stood outside the charity that I support, right? I know that I have to take these pictures because I need to have them to show that I've been, and, you know, and I said I was embarrassed because I didn't want. So I literally very quickly took the picture. I don't like having my picture taken much anyway. Particularly when you then got constantly, like I send Graham pictures of me to you. That sounded really dodgy, didn't it? I'll send pictures of me that he can use then when he's doing my content, and it's great because he probably goes through them and think, oh, that one will work for this or whatever. Like the one of me, there's another one of me soon that's a fun one. So when I'm out, sometimes I got, oh, take a picture of me doing this. But when I see other people clearly using pictures that are pictures, like I've got something on my top. I've got a stain on my top, and I know I was going to do it as a bit of a joke to say, oh, having a like doing a selfie.
Oh yeah, look at the stain there.
I've got something on my top. As if anybody, I've got a fairly low cut top. At the end of the day, but I'm of an age where I don't want to use what I've got to get that. I want to use this to get it.
Do you know what it's even led to? Do you know what it's even led to? And I know that these exist on LinkedIn, right? It's even led to fake profiles, which are basically there's basically somebody else behind that writing it, but all of the photos are literally a young woman with, you know, low cut tops and whatever else, and it's not that person that's actually doing the writing. I know that exists.
No, but what annoys me more about these selfie ones is then, and I know I'm going to get slated for this, but I also know there's going to be a whole bunch of people going, so I'll take that. Is you put the selfie on, and then it will be, oh, the man inboxed me, and he did this, and he thought that, and I'm like, you picked a photograph. You picked a photograph that we live. You picked a photograph that you picked a nice photograph for a reason. Just own it. Literally, just own the fact you picked a photograph. And Graham and I saw it a while ago because I said that top is see-through that person's wearing, and there's not much going on under there. Like literally, if I'm going to put a selfie on of me, I'm going to look to make sure that there isn't something that's going to be. We've done it jokingly before, where I've done a bikini one and we've joked about it, and it got thousands and thousands of impressions. And the wording of it was done, and it was all done rather tongue-in-cheek to show that, look, if you do this stuff, but don't then moan when you get the attention you get. Don't moan about it.
Do you know what? It's like me with TikTok, unfortunately. Like, I didn't come into this to have to do TikToks, lip syncing.
Absolutely.
I have to do it. So, because if I don't do it, that's not going to get me. That's where most of my audience come from. So I'm there. Literally, I can be anywhere. We could be having a cup of tea, and I'll say to my husband, "Oh my God, hang on a minute, hang on, take a picture of that cake," you know, because that honestly, but did you know that I've started playing up with it though, because I've literally I was in the cinema and there was no one in there, so I've done a video running up and down the cinema, and I actually just said on the thing, this is me having to do this so that you'll stop scrolling.
There we go. I have a picture of a horse on holiday coming out. And
yeah. And it does have the hook line about getting your leg over. Don't worry, it's there.
I was getting my sons to take pictures, and my husband was going. The boys were going. They're like 12 and 17, so they're like, oh, for God's sake. So anyway, the thing was, my hair wasn't quite dry, so we did some pictures, and I said, can we go back outside? And Oliver went, why? And I said, my hair's not dry. And he said, and I said, well, I need it right. So they went in and said to my husband, and they said, why does she have to keep doing these pictures? And he said, well, she has to do them for business, because for that exact reason, I have to take these bloody pictures because I have. That's
what you signed up for, and that's the thing. I had this woman comment. I think I did a little video because I'm having to do these little videos, and sometimes I do videos which are just me and the guitar, or like whatever acoustic versions of my songs, and they're fine. But I was doing this one, and someone put on there, and this is not anything about the person I'm about to say it about, because it's nothing to do with them. It's me, not them. But it said, someone had put on there, she tagged her friends, and she'd put, look, and I have blonde hair. Then I've had every colour hair. It's a fat Katie Hopkins, and I was like, okay. So I just put so I wrote a song about it. I'm just a fat Katie Hopkins, and I've unfollowed. So you know. So next video I did was my little skit on it.
You're just brilliant. You really are.
I said keep coming. Keep coming. Because I can cope with them. Someone younger or somebody who is, you know,
they write a whole post about it for LinkedIn. They write a whole post about it because they've been hurt by it. You write a song. I mean, I said to Graham the other day, I said, I just want to do training and help people develop people. I don't want to do all singing and dancing and acting and all this stuff. If I did sit there the other day and just thought, this isn't what I signed up for. I didn't sign up. I get that business is difficult, and I understand that. But I didn't think my ability to get work as being a trainer and a coach depended on how much or how little clothing I wore, or how what videos I took or pictures. I really didn't think that was going to be it.
Yeah. And even because I know, because I sit on your account sometimes, even when you professionally engage with people, sometimes you get exactly the same as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you get from certain quarters, you get like the, oh, hello, you know, and it's like, I'm trying to engage you in a conversation about business here. And, you know, it is. Now, I do want to talk about, I kind of want to swing the conversation here, because I started to have this conversation with Shelle yesterday, because we did one of these, but for the music podcast. But
So
I
I'm
did
really
say,
hot. That's why I'm doing this. I'm hot.
Yeah. Well, no, you're just trying to get more views. Is that right?
No, I made sure. No, I made sure.
It doesn't work if I do it. It doesn't work if I do it. Now, listen.
I made sure that the bar's there. Right.
I've got a T-shirt on today, from a band called Plastic Rhino. There we go. Here's another one: is that sometimes the system tells us that we can't do certain things, and that is utter nonsense as well. So one of the things I said to Shelle is, I'm on a mission to try and get more artists to come onto LinkedIn, right? Especially those that have actually got something to say and have lived a life and whatever else as well, because I think it would be enriching for the platform, etc. But also because it would be great for them and their business. And when I first started doing the music podcast, all of the PR companies I spoke to, when I said that I was going to broadcast on LinkedIn as part of the package, they went, "Why?" And I went, "Why not?" And they went, "Well, because Instagram and TikTok, that's where we're at, right? Because that's where the audience is." And I was like, "Do you know what the demographic of LinkedIn is?" And they were like, "No, it's a business platform." I said, "So you haven't even looked at it, right?" And when you think where the demographic is, and like there's a massive audience there that are kind of between 35 and 55, and they've got this as well, right? As opposed to like TikTok and whatever, where you've got a lot of like, you know, underage or you know, young people who haven't actually got that much disposable income, because if they have got any, they're saving for a car or for, you know, to get a deposit on a flat or whatever else, which is they're never going to achieve because they're never going to have enough money. But and also those people are the people that stream everything, and they're never going to physically buy a CD or a T-shirt or whatever else as well, because they don't even know what they are. And the other day when Plastic Rhino went on, and I put that on LinkedIn, it got such good views. I thought, I'm going to take this opportunity, and I posted it back, and I copied in a load of the PR companies, and they went, "What? 100,000 views on LinkedIn?" And I was like, "Yeah, I told you." Because there is an audience out there of people that actually want to get to know people that have, you know, got something to say and a story to tell, and are a little bit different, etc. So just that kind of discussion as well, which is that, and let's start with Katie.
It's your thing. Right, here you go.
There you go. Katie, shouldn't these people be on LinkedIn?
You know, I'm guilty of it. I'm not one of these fake people that will nod along and go, "Oh yes, absolutely right." I said to you, didn't I? I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. I've only ever used LinkedIn for business.
Yeah.
And
yet your business is what you do.
And this is my business. And the more people, you know, with Spotify streaming being sort of like 0.03p, I need people to buy my CD and my T-shirts.
Yeah. And if you came on LinkedIn and you found like 10 people in a week that want to buy your CD, you'd be like, happy days.
I'm signing up, Graham.
There you go.
Why is it seen that this is why I think the whole of I put a thing out there the other day asking people what I think I threw it out there. There was like an image I created of Facebook and LinkedIn kind of fighting, and I said the irony of it is that the people that say, "Oh, it's Facebooky type stuff."
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that are LinkedIn police that say, "Oh, it's Facebook." There's other people that will say, "Oh, it's Facebook-esque," and I'm like, "You're just snobby because actually you're on Facebook, but you don't really want to be on there but you do really. But really, what you want to do is show off to your professional friends about everything, because they're all the ones that start then talking about their wedding anniversaries and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to hear all that stuff on there, you know. But really, what they mean is they're too snobby to be on Facebook, but they want to put all that stuff on there. So now I've got the feed being, you know what I mean? And I think what they're not seeing is that actually, because someone said, "Oh, Facebook's dead," I said, "Well, I must be walking around in a grave or something, then, like talking to the ghosts or something, because it has its place for me." You know what I mean? That's where that stuff happens on there. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be an overlap, but why does it have to be that that's the awful place that the sinners go, the people that are like awful, and it's awful on there? And I said, you know what, I go over to my Facebook, and because I've curated it and it's nice, it's quite a nice place to be. I don't have people bitching and whatever. And yes, there are groups, don't get me wrong, there are groups that stuff goes on there, but what I see on LinkedIn is pretty shocking stuff. And I see it now as this, because there's groups on LinkedIn, but I don't think people really use them that much, to be quite honest. Facebook, you've got groups. I would find it easier. I think it depends what sector you're in. If you're in the care sector, Facebook's definitely better, I think. If you're at the doing end, if you're the corporate end of care, you go onto LinkedIn, because that's where we do the networking and we go for drinkies and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I am awful, aren't I? But I say it is. But then you've got the groups, which are great. In my mind, can see that better, because I see it that I'm going to go and hang out with people that want to talk about care stuff. LinkedIn now just seems like, somebody said earlier about the impressions. I suddenly realised, Graham, I stopped looking at impressions, because as soon as everybody else has started talking about them, I've gone, oh, I've stopped looking at mine, because I just thought, well, actually, life's going okay. Somebody said earlier on their impressions were down, and I said, well, mine were never up. So now I'm up. I'm actually quite happy in the world now. And I said, but you've got to see that now, because so many people are posting so much more, and it isn't so much direct business-y related stuff, there's only so much people can digest, surely, isn't there? I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's as simple as this, and maybe Katie, you can take over from this, but I think on any platform, right, if there's a way of finding a particular audience on a platform, find that way of doing it and investigate it, you know. And I'm very different. Shelle, if you get onto LinkedIn, you'll see that I'm quite different on LinkedIn than I am on Instagram, right? I'm completely different on TikTok, because on TikTok I haven't a clue. But there you go. And I'm really not that bothered. But on X, I've got a massive kind of following around two things really: education and music. Right? I don't see a lot of the bad stuff. I don't see a lot of the bad stuff on X and whatever, because I don't sort of attribute myself to those kind of people. I get a lot of love on the music side of things, and I love all of that. Right, so I play a slightly different game in different areas, etc. I think LinkedIn's a great platform, because I feel like you can kind of be a mishmash of everything in there and succeed. And I just feel like, you know, I mean, I put out a post earlier in the week where those Facebook posts that are like literally about nothing at all, right? And I put out one. I said, "Where's the best place to eat out for the night in Nantwich?" Right, which is the kind of daft kind of thing that people post on Facebook, isn't it? Where do I get the best kebab in Nantwich? You know.
Yeah.
And I said, people, look, the people that are complaining about people posting Facebook style material on LinkedIn, right? Stop making it the most popular stuff on LinkedIn then, right?
Yes.
Because if I put that stuff on LinkedIn and I get 200,000 views, or Marianne, you get 400,000 views, as you've had on some of them, right? And then you put something out about how experienced you are at work and whatever, and you get like 200 views. I'm sorry, you're going to do both, aren't you? Because it helps people get to see what you actually are about, and it gets you to actually help.
It's conduit. That seems like a big word for any.
It is conduit, yeah. It's a conduit into getting more people looking at what you're doing. Exactly.
I mean, the irony of it is that I'm now seeing people jumping up and down for the last few weeks. I'm just sitting there laughing my head off about the whole thing. So I just think, well, you've all gloried and basked in all your impressions and everything else, whilst I've been over here going, oh, I'm struggling with this, and people saying, hang in there, Marianne, business doesn't come quickly. So I've carried on doing what I'm doing, and the minute it starts working for me, they're all jumping up and down and going, it's all right for you. And I'm going, what? Do you mean it's all right for me? I've waited whilst you've all been basking in that glory of, and the minute you thought it doesn't work, you all start throwing your toys out of the pram.
Yeah. Katie, what are most people doing wrong on LinkedIn? I'm guessing that the thing that most people are doing wrong is that regardless of what impressions they're getting or whatever else, then they're not even able to sell.
There's that, but they're chasing after the wrong things. They're not able to sell, so they want people to come to them because they can't sell to people. They don't know how to sell to people. They don't know how to have a genuine conversation because it's that impatience level where it's like, I'm talking to you now, we've connected, so now you're going to buy from me. But that is not how it happens. It is, well, it might happen like that. It depends on how self-aware a person is in their journey. If you could connect with someone and they go, oh my God, love their content. Right, that's it. I'm buying from them tomorrow. It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
But most people are like, and what I have found, and did I post about it today? I might not post about it today. I might have scheduled to post. I don't know. That's the heat on me. Okay. I have no idea what I've done with my life today. But for a lot of people, it's a popularity contest. It's, hey, look at me. I've got all these reactions. That means everybody loves me. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We all know how the algorithm has worked up until now, when everything maybe seems to have gone up it a little bit. No one really knows what's going on anymore. That's fine. I don't care because I'm not about likes. Of course, we all like we like to know that people are looking. We like to know that people are potentially resonating with what we say. We're all going to want that. It's human nature. But there are so many people out there, and it's the people who are complaining about the impressions who live their life relying on external validation.
Influencers.
Yes. That's because they crave this, like me. And then they turn around and say, I don't care what people think about me. Yes, you do.
Everybody cares what people think about them. Come on.
And it actually doesn't become about the thing. And I've talked about this quite a lot. And again, I know that I wrote a post yesterday about it. And I said, I know that, I can't remember what it was. It was about being honest and impressive. I'd rather be honest than impressive. I'd actually rather be both. But and the reason I said that was because I know I'm that person that's going to rock up on someone's feed and say, and ask a question about what it is they're talking about. And I know that there's some people that I can ask those questions to, and they will, what you'll see, if you go and do a bit of research on it on people, not what I do, you'll see there's some people that always respond to their things. And they're a bit vacuous comments. They don't really say a lot. And then I rock up and say, oh, I'm just asking about this because I'm not sure. They'll either ignore the comment or they'll leave it for ages and then tell me, sorry, I've been so busy, I just didn't see your comment. Yeah, right. But as I said on my post, if you know your stuff and if you're absolutely confident and you believe in what you do, actually, I can be your best salesperson because every question I ask that you answer is showing people what you can do without you having to even do any material on it. So you should be thanking me for that if you're confident. But what you find is that what I'm seeing is that a lot of these people that are influencer type people, it never really was about the thing that they were doing. All I want to do is do training and develop people. If people like me, great. Of it, but this wasn't really about a popularity contest. It was about getting work. I've got kids to feed at the end of the day, whichever way round we look at it. I've got one that's having driving lessons and needs a car and eats everything. So stop talking about how much money you're making, because that's like comparing apples and pears. If you've haven't got any of the responsibilities that I've got and you want to work 60 hours a day, that's great. But don't compare with me how much money.
This is where I wanted to kind of bring it to a kind of close today and finish on this topic, which is that So somebody,
Sorry, I've been on my high horse.
somebody
Sorry.
who shall remain nameless posted this today that they'd fortunately they'd moved their business from say 20 grand a month to, what was it, 20 grand to 50 grand a month. Yeah, 20 grand to 50 grand a month, right? Yeah.
I'm not thinking
and you know, and here's the thing, there's so many of these people now that are like, you know, it's not success unless you're, you know, you're absolutely I looked up the national average wage for the UK, and it's somewhere between 31 to 36,000, right? So basically they're saying that they're doing more in a month than most people in the UK are doing in a year, right? Which to me is incredibly kind of callous and hurtful and whatever, because no one needs to broadcast that, and it doesn't kind of make me admire them or whatever else as well. But also, when we were talking about it earlier, and I'd love to get your views on this, but what are these people missing out on in life as well? Because like for all of us here, you know, if we've got family, we've got kids, we've got other people that, you know, we're responsible for and whatever else, all of that is an enrichment in life, right? But it means that we can't necessarily do 16 hours a day, 8 days a week, you know, or whatever, and forego going on holiday and whatever else, you know, because we have to balance everything, right? Oh no, what is it with these people, you know?
Well, the thing that I like to always, because generally the people who are saying this are coaches or consultants in some form. This is nothing against you, by the way. I work with coaches and I love the coaches.
Or buses.
The only reason I put the consultancy on the end is because as soon as people see training, they assume you don't know anything because you've just done it because you can't do anything else. That's
that's right.
Yeah. So
I can't help people.
What they fail to miss when they say about how much money they've made every month, which is absolutely brilliant for them, by the way. Like, I love the fact that people are making that much money. Good for them. I wish I was them sometimes. So I'm like, please. So
Shelle, they could buy a few CDs with that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe they could just say they've hit their highest financial months rather than actually state the figure.
There we go.
Again, it is that disrespect to people who not necessarily disrespect as in intentional malicious, but it is a little bit like, come on, there are people in poverty. It's a little bit like Elon Musk just flying himself around everywhere, and I'm thinking, oh my god, have you been around the world? Like, have you been around the world? You're a billionaire.
Or trying to pay
anyway.
you know, £1 million to a voter to vote for him.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
I'm not going to get into the politics, but
to me, it would be better to say I've trebled my income, because actually, if somebody said to me, I can treble your income, well, if I'm making £100 a week, because that's what my capability is, for whatever reason, if somebody says they can treble my income, then they've trebled my income for me.
Yes.
But I don't really want to hear that you've gone from 10 to whatever it is, because actually that's not doable. That's never going to be doable for me. It's not going to be.
But success also looks different for different people as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got that fact. Yeah. Because I've literally got a story of when I first started, I was probably a year or two into the business. I don't think I was two. It was very different. I was traveling around in a touring caravan at that time. I had a baby. I was still breastfeeding. It's like my life was just hectic. We were like exploring, but we were like trying to start a business. So I invested quite a lot of money in a coach because I was like, 10k months. Yeah. Then I was like, oh, look at all this work that comes with it. Why did you not tell me about that first? Like, I completely get my responsibility is on the same level, but I just like a bit more transparent to say, yes, this is how much hourly commitment we're going to need for you to do that. Not just the money. Give me the time that I need.
Yeah, they're not being transparent. And actually, inevitably, we talked about this the other day, didn't we, Graham? That those people are going to take your money and then they're going to blame you for not doing it, and they walk away from you.
Yes.
And for me, when I hear that, it just makes me think, what kind of...
Or they're going to say, you haven't got the mindset to make this work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because because it takes a growth mindset, and you haven't got a growth mindset, and it might just be, no, actually I want to be a mother as well as a businesswoman.
Absolutely.
And
that's
not wrong.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe, and I've posted about this before, I do believe people, before they go into business coaching, particularly if it is focused on their business, they should probably look at their mindset first. They should probably dive into that type of coaching first, because if you are procrastinating and you do find yourself getting stuck with stuff and not doing like DMs, for example, if you're not doing them now, working with a business coach is not going to make you do them, because he's just going to tell you, or she, it could be either sex. You're not going to do them.
I've had it generally from other men, not from other women, because a lot of them are mothers and they do understand. But being the one that's at home most of the time, and I do the school runs. I've had, like, when I've said, I can't meet them because I've got to go and get the kids from school. But sometimes I get you get that which means what you're doing. You're meant to be the man. You're meant to be working.
Rude.
Or the can't she do that?
Yeah, I've had that.
Oh, it
what
is
that about?
I'm like, stop talking before I take your head off.
Well, not the head, maybe other part of the body. But yeah, no, absolutely wrong.
But that comes with everything, people's views, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I get that with music, like you go to family events or people that you haven't seen, your auntie you haven't seen for 5 years or something, or even people actually close to you that will say, "Are you still doing your music hobby?" And I'm like, okay. And then they say, "Did you not think that you could have been a barrister by now? You could be earning some good money." I'm like, yeah,
it's your life, it's not theirs.
How rude. But can I just, validation thing, I just wanted to say that I'm, again, with the honesty, for a long time I did think that validation came from likes and follows. I did think, okay, these people are going to follow me, so they're going to like it. So how many likes? And I would wake up, and this isn't very long ago that I stopped doing this. This is not very long ago. I'm talking months. I'd wake up in the morning, I would look on my phone, I'd be like, okay, that's only got like 30 likes or 40 likes or whatever. It's only got 200 views. I was stuck in 200 view jail. What was I going to do? And I didn't go to bed until 2 a.m. I'd be lying there in bed on my phone thinking, how can I get my likes and follows to go up? How am I going to get my music career? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And it literally, but literally now I'm literally, and it's changed my life, this mindset. And I wrote that in that probably won't song, that song that you say is like a catchy song, and it is a catchy song. There's a little bit in the middle 8 where I say, I might go for a walk, I might buy a bike, I might realize that validation doesn't come from likes. And that is literally what I did realize. And it's life changing when you realize, okay, it is going to be what it is. The universe is going to work how it's going to work, or God or the universe or whatever you believe in, and you just got to carry on.
And we live in a world of this. I have my 17-year-old who's very, lovely lad, really older than his years as well. And I came home the other night and he was upset. I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, he'd wanted some friends over last night and his dad had said no and whatever. And he said, I got angry. And I said, "Why?" And he said, "So I've held this in for a year." It breaks my heart, actually. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, there's lots of people from my school." So he's at college now. And he said, and other schools where they have parties, and my friends go, but I'm not invited. And I said, "But you can't not like him." He said, "They've said they don't like me, these people." And I said, "Really? Because like you're not really somebody that people like." Yeah. So I said to him, and it was funny though, because he said, "The thing is, I have to see the videos of it." And I said, like this. And I said, "You know what, I find this with," and he said, "I don't even want to go to the parties, really." And I said, "I'm like this on LinkedIn. You see all these networking things people do. I didn't even want to go to the networking. The only reason I'd want to go is because I would want to be in the place that would get me the work, seeing the people. But I don't really want to see everybody else. Do you know what I mean?" And I said, and I said, "It's the same." I said, "I didn't even want to go to the damn networking. I didn't even want to go to the party, but it was the fact I wasn't even asked to go to the party that hurt me." And we sort of had a bit of a laugh about it. And I said, "At least you're learning when you're 17. And I said, you're into your music, you're at college now. you've always been somebody, Samuel, that likes the people you like what you like, you know. And I just thought it was heartbreaking. I thought, God, isn't that funny? Mum's 49 and I've worked through this a bit better. I've worked out I don't really like people. He doesn't really like people. But as soon as you're hit with a video of people at something, and I said, did your friends say anything to them? He said, well, they did. And I said, do your friends want to be there? He said, they don't want to be there. So everybody's just doing the stuff because you have stuff to be seen. And then I sit there sometimes, and since, like Graham knows, when I accidentally started posting viral stuff, I just suddenly thought, I'm doing this because I love the stuff I'm posting, because it's just stuff that I love.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily for my business, but it is helping grow my reach. But
there's always light at the end of the tunnel, is what I'm going to say. And I think the light at the end of the tunnel is that when people say find your tribe, which I always think sounds a bit corny, but whatever, it isn't wrong in a way, though. I think you don't need big groups of people, swaths of people that love you. You just need to find the people that do enjoy your company and whatever. And you know, maybe the answer is just to get together, like, you know, us four today, from time to time, and just reconnect with like people that will actually validate your existence.
I know I have parties, and I used to call them my misfit friends. And I realized after I was diagnosed that my misfit friends were actually the people I aligned with. And they were people that were like me, that didn't do groups of women, because the thought of being with groups of women just horrifies me. And so they were my misfit friends. And so I have parties now with my misfit friends, and all my misfit friends get on, and they know that they're called my misfit friends. And it's because they don't really like being around groups of people, but they like being, you know what I mean? But
also, you can make success that way. I mean, everybody's chasing the quick win, and the quick win is fine if you actually want to be as shallow as a, you know,
shallow end of a swimming pool.
A shallow end of a swimming pool. Thank you very much. That will do as an analogy. But if you do things properly, it might take longer, but you will get there.
It will have longevity then.
Take the music podcast. We're at nearly 5 years now. We are in the top 20% of content on Spotify, right? And that's not down to me. That's down to everybody that's come on and has been fantastic. And it's partly down to the fact that, you know, you build relationships with those people, and then those people help and try and you know, improve the flow of everything. And it takes time. It just takes time.
But also, people need to start opening their minds. My last point on this is that although somebody said they charge me a lot of money to get my voice heard, and I said there's nothing wrong with my voice, it's the people that are listening need to start really being conscious of what they're engaging with, why, and ask more questions, and don't just go along with the flow. So when you see something, is to ask questions about it, and because there's nothing wrong with my voice. There's nothing wrong with mine. There's nothing wrong with yours, Shelle. There's nothing wrong with yours, Graham and Katie. There's nothing wrong with our voices. When you believe and you're good at what you do, but you can keep saying it as much as you want. But if the people on the other end don't open their minds and they only go for the glitz and the shine and the everything else, then people that are great are never going to be able to be great and make a success, because they're being prevented from it, because people just keep being sheep and going for whatever else.
No, absolutely. And
sorry, I had to say that bit.
No, on that point, we're going to round up today, but I want to thank everybody for coming along and being fantastic. What a great conversation. Folks, if you're not connected to anybody that's in this room and you're watching this now, please do, especially on LinkedIn for us. Shelle might be joining LinkedIn, hopefully, so that we can
join it. I will join it. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, join the party. We'll help you, etc. If you haven't connected to Kate yet, please do that as well. And Shelle, just leave you with this. So hold the CD up again, and where do people get it?
You can get this from my little website, which is on all my socials. You can stream it on Spotify and all over, or you can download it as well.
Don't download it. Don't stream it. Buy it.
It's quite 80s, isn't it? It's quite 80s, that cover.
Yes.
Do you know what? Yeah, and which is fits in with my vibe. And there is, yeah, some good songs on there. Of course, I'm going to say that, but they are.
It's got that, you know. The similar covers with people like Gloria Estefan and people like that from that era, which are obviously fantastic. We will be back same time, same place next week with more of the same. But until then, from Marianne, Katie, Shelle, and myself, have a good week. Bye for now.